Hello, I'm Tulsi Taylor, and this is my first milestone update for Fashion Value Lab. Fashion Value Lab is an interactive learning experience that helps people understand whether a piece of clothing is actually worth buying. And for this milestone, I'll briefly explain the problem I'm focusing on, who the learner is, and how the project works. Then I'll show you the current version of the app and end with a few questions I would like feedback on. So I'll go ahead and start with my slides. All right. So a lot of people shop for clothes regularly, but most of us were never really taught how to judge clothing value. We often use price, brand names, sales, and influencer opinions to decide if something is good, but a higher price does not always mean better quality, and popular brand does not always mean the item is worth buying. That can lead to buying something that looked good online but felt cheap in person, or buying something on sale that we barely wear. And the main problem I'm trying to solve is not people need more fashion information, it's that they need a simple way to practice making better decisions before they buy. So, the solution, um, this project, Fashion Value Lab, treat this kind of judgment as something people can learn. The experience is built around a simple flaw. First, the learner sees what kind of details matter, such as material, construction, care instruction, and cost per wear. Then they compare realistic clothing options. After that, they explain their choice in their own words. That tool gives feedback on what they noticed and what they may have missed. And at the end, the learner creates a personal shopping rules that they can use later. And for this first version, I'm only focusing on work jackets and blazers. I want to keep the scope small enough to build and test properly. So my target learner is someone I can call the curious shoppers. This person likes fashion and shops online often, but they do not always know what makes one item better than the other. They may want to buy fewer or better things, but they are still unsure what to check before buying. They may have bought clothes that looked nice online, but felt disappointing once they arrived. And the main questions they have is simple, and this is the question that I ask myself as well, is what am I about to buy something? When I'm about to buy something, how do I know if it's actually worth it? The goal is not to judge their budget or tell them what brands to buy. It is simple to just help them feel more confident and make more thoughtful decisions. So, I'm going to share my current website that I have created for the demo. Uh, So this is my live app demo. It starts with the pre-assessment. The experience start with a short pre-assessment. The learner see two jackets and chooses the one they think is better value. They also write a short explanation for their choice. For this one, I say it's, well, I think because it's cheaper and it's at home washable. Okay. Now, this is going to The first module focus on quality cues that people can actually notice. Instead of giving the learner a long list to read, they can click on different parts of this jacket. For example, they can explore the fabric, buttons, collar, lining, care label, and each area explain what someone might look for and why it matters. The goal is to make the learning feel more visual and interactive. The learner needs to explore at least 3 areas before moving on. The next module is cost per wear. The second module explains cost per wear. So the learner sees the price of a jacket and uses a slider to choose how many times they think they would wear it. And as they move the slider, the cost per wear changes. This helps show that the cheapest item is not always the best value, and the most expensive item is not always a bad choice. And it depends on how often the item will actually be used. And I wanted learner to see the number changes instead of how only the reading definition. The next module is brand claim. So the learner sees a statement such as responsibly made or made with the recycled nylon, 100% recycled nylon and certified by Blue Sign. So after each answer, they get a short explanation. So the goal is to help the learner pause and ask, what proof is the brand actually giving me? The premium workwear essentials. Mm, okay. Seems like a real proof to me. All right. So they answered the same kind of question again and explain which option they think is better value for the post assessment. And this time, I expect their explanation to include more evidence such as material, construction, care, expected use. The tool gives them then a score based on the rubric. So I'm going to select which blazer I think will be suitable for me, and which one I would buy. I'm going to pick this one because I feel it's more structured and I like color. The last activity asks the learner to create personal shopping rule. The format is, if this happens, then I'll do this before buying. For example, if I'm about to spend more than $80, then I will check the material, care, instruction, and cost per wear first. This is important because I want them to leave with something they can use outside the app. So my rule to remember is, I think because it looks great. If it looks great, then I will check the fabric and lining first. And then I'll save it. This is the final screen, and the learner can see their first answer and the final answer side by side. They can also see their score, their shopping rule, and a short feedback form. This makes it easier for them to notice whether their thinking changed during the experience. So I'm gonna go back to the slide The assessment rubric has four level. A score of 0 means the answer only talks about price, brand, and personal preference without using product evidence. A score of 1 means the learner mentioned one useful detail but does not explain it much. A score of 2 means they use more than one cue, such as material, construction, care, or cost per wear. The score of 3 means they explain the trade-offs clearly and connect the evidence to their final decisions. For this version, the scoring is rule-based and it looks for specific type of evidence in the learner's response. I choose this approach because it is simple, predictable, and realistic for the class project. And then what's next is my next step is to test the app with 3 to 5 people. I want to see where they get confused, where they slow down, whether the activity actually helped them give a stronger explanation. I also want to improve the feedback after each activity instead of only showing most of it at the end. Later, I may expand beyond jackets into categories such as sweaters or casual outwear. And then I also want to explore AI-based feedback in the future so the response can be more personal and better understand what the learner is trying to say. But for now, my goal is to make sure the current learning experience is clear and useful. So, I have a four main question I would like feedback on, and I would really appreciate some feedback. This demo project that I created is a very still very much still in the progress for me right now. So I'm constantly making changes as I'm making this and thinking through this project. So please, thank you. I would really like some feedback, and as I move on, I'll take your feedback and try to improve my product as much as I can. Thank you.